Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Nord and Block podcast. It is Tuesday, May 27th, 2025. I am your host here at Nordic 97, joined by my other host, LeBlock James. LeBlock, how we doing?
Namaste.
What?
I said namaste.
Okay.
But I think we should just kick it off right away with what's going on. What's
going on?
What I don't like, the level of concern is at an all-time high for the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah, we'll jump into that right away. So we are 3 games through the Eastern Conference Finals, and the Carolina Hurricanes are down 3-0 against the Florida Panthers. First off, let's just go through Florida. We'll go through Carolina here in a moment. This team is unreal. This team is just absolutely unreal. Everybody's talking about like how bad Carolina is. No, Florida's just that good.
Yeah, and I want to emphasize it like that more than like, oh, Carolina's so bad. No, Florida's just really, really good. The only thing I'm getting online is, wow, Leafs Panthers here really was the conference finals.
It really was, and I think, to be honest with you, like Florida, just unreal stuff. Honestly, like I've been saying it in the TikToks all week. Like you put to sleep one line, you wake up another. You shut down that line, another one comes up. Like the other night, like Marchand's line had like 5 points in Game 7. In Game 2, Kachuk, Verhaeghe, and I think it was Rodriguez had like 8 points combined. And then to the other night, you had Nico Mikkola scoring, 2 goals?
Yeah, like, one of that's where you had Luosterainen go off for like 3 points.
Yeah, like what are we doing? Like this team is, and I know like Carolina is like, I think Carolina was clearly outmatched from the get-go. We can get into that here in a moment, but just seeing how Florida is, like this team is just so deep. It's unbelievable, honestly. Like from head to toe, all 4 lines, all 3 D pairings, and Bob. Like it's just so good. Seriously.
Yeah, you look at the. I think the deeper Florida goes, the better Bob gets. Like I'm telling you, because first round he didn't look amazing. Second round he looked pretty good, and then he's been insane.
He's been shut down. He's allowed a goal per game on average. Essentially, had to shut out in Game 2. Or no, sorry, he's allowing just over a goal per game average. I forgot they scored 2 goals in Game 1, but overall he's been great. Again, I've said it throughout these playoffs and in the live streams and all that. He doesn't have like the sexiest playoff numbers when you look at his overall stats, but when he locks in, and he's pretty damn good. So I like that a lot there from Bobrovsky. Now, let's jump into Carolina, because I think Carolina, it's being a little bit overblown. I think like with the Rantanen trade and everything that went down this year, like it's one thing to like, have that whole Eastern Conference Finals losing streak thing where they've lost like 15 in a row. But as well as that too, I think we have to realize that first off, the Metropolitan was mid, first of all. And second of all, this Carolina team, especially after the Rantanen deal, wasn't really a number 1 contender.
No, I think when they got Rantanen, we discussed them being a contender for the Metropolitan, not for the Eastern Conference.
Well, if they had Rantanen, then I think this might be a different story if he's playing to his potential. But I think after they got rid of him, I'm like, yeah, they're probably not going to do much this year.
Yeah, but Rantanen wasn't playing to his potential in Carolina to begin with. So you could argue that never comes to fruition in Carolina.
True. Yeah, that's definitely true. But still, like, when they got Rantanen, everybody was like, yeah, like, this team's legit.
In 2023, it wasn't concerning because they lost every game by, like, 1 goal.
Yeah.
But they're just getting smacked. Like,
yeah, this year's just been like lopsided blowouts. Game 1 was like all Florida. It wasn't like absolute like ass raping like Game 2 was, and then Game 3 like it was close to the third, and then just Florida.
Yeah, first game was kind of close. I would say kind of. They won like 4-1, and then Game 2 like it not even close.
5-0. Carolina had like 7 shots in the first 2 periods. The fans were chanting, "Shoot the puck." Yeah. I got to tell you something. It's just been a disaster.
and we always talk about Toronto, how Toronto should blow it up. Do you say the same thing of Carolina? Because I know that's a big topic right now being discussed.
No.
And I'm going to say this. Carolina also has, they have their guys locked up, but they also now have a ton of cap space this offseason. So
they are in a very good position. They have the young players that they have, the veterans who have been there for a little bit, and they have so much future assets now with all those picks coming from Dallas. Like, they have a young core and young players coming up. I just think they're in a little bit of a weird, like, transitional year. And I think I said that heading into this year.
We said this at the start of the playoffs, how this is the start of the trade deadline, or at the end of it, excuse me, that this was a transition year for Carolina. Like, they tried to get better, it didn't work, so then they got the next best thing, which is draft capital. So they have draft capital, they have young players, and they have assets. They can use those assets to get better. So if I'm Tulsi right now, I'm not messing with the core. I'm not touching it. I'm going to bring in players. I'm going to bring in players in the next couple years who are impact guys and can help me win.
You don't mess with the core. You keep the core there. I think you change a lot of things around. Like, I'm already looking at, like, their cap wages right now. I think you probably let go of Orlov. I think Burns probably goes.
Burns might retire.
Burns might retire. You bring up guys like Nikishin and Morrow, and then Nato as well on the forward core. So you have, like, options there with your young players and young guys they've drafted to come up. But I don't really going back to their run this year, like, I just think the Metro was just so mid. You played a Devils team that was battered and bruised, and as well as that, too, they really weren't that good since January 1st. You played, and I know, like, they're going to hate me for saying this, because I've been saying it a lot this year, they played an overachieving Washington Capitals team.
They did, yes. They played a Mickey Mouse Eastern Conference winner. Like, I don't
know if they're a Mickey Mouse Eastern Conference winner, but they're definitely overachieving. They definitely overachieved.
They overachieved for sure, but, like, I'm sorry, comparing what Carolina had to go through compared to what Florida had to go through.
Florida went through fucking war. And they still dominated, honestly.
Like, I don't know how to say it. And I've said this multiple times, the Atlantic is the toughest division in the NHL.
It is. And I think, like, any other argument is just not correct. Like, you had, like, even, like, the 7th seed in the division was still decent. Like, seriously.
And I said, like, the 2 wildcard teams we had this year from the Atlantic, other than Columbus, I'm pretty sure the next team up was Detroit. Yeah, it was Detroit, wasn't it?
Well, the Rangers were in there too.
Rangers were in there too, but they fell back. They fell back. Detroit.
Yeah, they did. But yeah, Detroit was right there. Like, you have, like, and you could look at every team in the Atlantic and say, yeah, they have a pretty decent, like, future coming up. Honestly, like, maybe besides Boston, like, you could say for all of them, like, yeah, they'll be good for the next 5 years probably.
I mean, even for Boston though, like, you have the assets, you have the capital.
You have the assets. It's just a matter of getting through it. Honestly. So that's what I think there. Like, I just think Florida's just so much better than Carolina, and Carolina's in that transitional year. And then as well as that too, like, just the Metro is just so weak. Yeah. Like, it's you could argue, like, every team in that division was frauds, honestly. Like, I mean, Washington overachieved. Carolina, I think, is the best of those 3. Obviously, they're in the conference finals, but they're not really that good compared to the Atlantic.
I would say New Jersey, even before Jack Hughes got hurt, was, like, in that position. Like,
yeah. I mean, I think we talked about this when we did our series previews. Like, I put all the notes and stuff down on my, like, on my paper, and I looked up all the stats. Like, since January 1st, the Devils were, like, below 500. Like, it was slightly below. They weren't, like, so far below, but they were, like, slightly below, but just because they had a really
at the midpoint, like, and you see it with especially with, and then Jack Hughes gets injured, and that's what they focus on. No, the Devils were not playing good hockey.
No, they weren't good before that, and that's the narrative I was trying to say. I'm like, okay, sure, like, yeah, Jack Hughes, losing him is not great, but they weren't good before that. And again, I mean, like, we're going off topic here, but just, like, the Metro was just so weak, and that just and
then let's just quickly look at the rest of the Metro. Columbus. You can even see Columbus pretty overachieved. Would you say that?
I do think they took a step in some ways. Fantilli got 30 goals this year. I think they took steps, but definitely overachieved in a sense where I think they'll probably be worse next year, but slightly worse.
Just a bit though. Like I don't want to say it's a big over. Like they overachieved like just a smidge.
Yeah, I didn't think they would be the last team to be eliminated from the playoffs.
The Rangers had a down year, or the Rangers need to just blow it up. I don't know what we've had our rant on the Rangers. We're not going to get into that.
They'll be back. And then Islanders were the Islanders.
Islanders age finally cut the age and finally cut up to them, and then Pittsburgh, the
age has been there. We knew that was going to happen, and then Philly wasn't good either.
And Philly was basically rebuilding. And
you play those teams, and you're Carolina and you're Washington. You play those teams 4 times a year. All of those teams each, and you're miles better than all of them. So there you go. You immediately earn points that way.
I always say for the division, for the weaker division, especially the Pacific and the Metro. Yeah. I would love to beat up on San Jose 4 times a year.
Yeah, exactly. But we're going a little bit off course. Let's go. Do you have any other thoughts on Carolina and Florida?
This has to be a record though for the most Eastern Conference games lost consecutively.
It is. I'm pretty sure it is a record.
And I've been on Twitter. Now it's not a fun place to be sometimes, but I was there, and I was on Kane's Twitter, and there's a lot of mixed opinions about what's going on. First of all, obviously, if you lost 15 conference finals games in a row, I think you'd be pretty pissed off too.
Definitely.
Yeah. Some I've seen takes where someone Brindamore gone. Some minority wants the core blown up, but
you can't blow up the core when it literally has been around for.
No, if you get rid of Brindamore, he'll be the hottest coach on the market when everyone has just hired their coaches.
Literally, they're not getting rid of him. That's not happening.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they just extended him too.
Yeah, they extended him last year, I think. Yeah. So yeah, that's not happening. Definitely.
I do want to say though, I think Carolina in net, I'm not. At least for the short-term future, I'm not 100% confident in. Freddie Anderson, Anderson had great numbers against Montreal and Washington, but that's Montreal and
Jersey.
Yeah,
Jersey.
Washington and Jersey. Excuse me, I think of. And and I was still thinking in the series. Oh, look how good Freddie Anderson's been playing, and then you get to Florida and you just fall apart.
Shit the bed. Yeah, I think again,
and Freddie Anderson, I'm pretty sure Anderson's 37.
Yeah, he's old. He signed a 1-year deal. I think he's just about done. I like Anderson. I thought he was going to be solid, but has not been. They put the checkoff in for Game 3. It was slightly better for 2 periods, and then it all fell apart.
Yeah, and then I like Kachekov. I think he's a good young goalie, but I don't trust him as a starter, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and then you really don't have anybody else coming up in the pipeline that's really sexy.
Time to draft a goalie.
Yeah, maybe you draft that guy in the first round that we were talking about.
Ravensburg. We'll get into draft conversations later about that because I have a few. When we do our prospects highlight on him, we'll talk about fits for him.
For sure. Yeah. Let's move on from the Eastern Conference Finals over to the Western Conference Finals. The Oilers are up 2-1 currently in the Dallas-Edmonton series. LeBlanc, I think this one's been slightly more competitive than Florida and Carolina, but it's kind of also been a little bit lopsided since Game 1.
So Game 1 was like cinema. I don't know about you. Game one was awesome. Game one was awesome. Game 2 was a good performance by Skinner. Day's game. I was watching it in and out. I was out and about, and I came back, watch a little bit, go out, came back, watch a little bit, go out.
Same. We were preparing for a party here, so I was I had to go run errands, and then I'm watching parts of it.
I watched the entire first period I watched, and then I went out, then came back. And then I remember my brother and his buddies were watching him in the garage, and my brother hates the Oilers. So I come into the garage, what's with Canada's team? Yeah, but what a dominating performance by the Oilers. Stuart Skinner, after I swear to God, we write him off every year. And he has these playoff performances that make me believe again. I don't know.
Belief.
He has one of the worst save percentages in the playoffs, but he has 3 shutouts.
Yeah, he's unreal. Like it's either and this narrative got killed today, but it's either he gets a shutout or he allows like 5 goals and 20 shots. Like
Yeah,
there's no in between.
that narrative died today.
Yeah, that narrative unfortunately died. It still is somewhat true, but that narrative did die today. Honestly, it's crazy. He's been pretty damn good, honestly, and so is this whole Oilers team. Like McDavid looks like McDavid. He becomes like one of 4 players to like have 20 points in 4 consecutive playoff series or playoff runs, which is crazy that the list is only 4. But we'll get back to that in a moment. Bouchard's looked good. The whole Edmonton defense has looked great.
Yeah, even without Ekholm, like Ekholm's coming back.
He'll be back probably next game, possibly. So you might see him here soon.
Like they're also getting scoring from like their bottom 6 as well.
Yeah, like I mean, again, I've been pushing the narrative. I'm like, you're getting goal. Like John Klingberg scored today. Like you're getting goals from like your guys that you need to score to go on deep playoff runs. The Oilers are getting that. Like they're not relying. I mean, like even the year before, like they really weren't relying on just McDavid and Bouchard and Draisaitl.
Yeah, no, like last year's run, they had attributes from the bottom 6 guys. Like you saw, Corey Perry was really good for them. Connor Brown, even Zach Hyman on the third line when he is there.
But it feels like that narrative just like
is dying.
It's dead at this point. Like you can run all 4 lines with the Oilers. You can do that. Now for Dallas, for me, I'm a little bit concerned with what I'm seeing. Like they are garbage on the road. They are just not good. They've scored 1 goal in their last 3 games on the road, which is actually insane. They went about like 175 minutes without scoring a goal on the road. They have allowed the first goal of the game 13 times.
Jesus.
That is just, it's not going to win you. Like, I see those stats, and we're heading into game 4 on Tuesday, and I'm just thinking to myself, yeah, it's on Tuesday. I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, Oilers in 6, probably.
Yeah, and you're thinking of it now because Dallas has been bad on the road in all their series, actually, when you think about it.
Yeah,
if they didn't win game 1 in Winnipeg, we might be talking about something else right now.
We probably are. If it weren't for that win, I think maybe Winnipeg's here in the conference finals. Like, honestly, like that's how. And Winnipeg too. They were pretty bad on the road as well.
Winnipeg was brutal on the road, like except for maybe like game 6.
They lost. No, they lost every game. Actually,
but in game 6 they were
actually decent.
But
apart from that, it's been bad.
But Edmonton, like Winnipeg's a very hard place to play. Edmonton is not an easy place to play.
Just the atmosphere is.
No, and I'm someone who's I haven't been there for a playoff game, but I've been there for a game in March, and it felt like a playoff game.
That they are passionate. They are some passionate people. I got a question for you. Is the moss pit used during the regular season, or is it just playoffs? It's just playoffs.
So that mosh pit there is by one of the exits or entrances to the building.
Okay.
So it's a huge. I've been there though. It's a huge centerpiece. The mosh pit. They have to crowd control it, so they can't allow as many people in. It's like kind of like Maple Leafs where you have to like get your tickets before when they come out. Yeah. But when we were there,
playoff thing, not a regular season thing.
In Edmonton, it gets to like -30 in the winter. So like, the only people who are going out into the mosh pit and watching the Oilers games are probably the homeless people.
Yeah, it was like 80 degrees there today, and I'm like, how is it hotter there than it is here?
No, I'm like, it's like a brisk, like 27, 30 degrees. Like, what the hell? Like, what?
I'm like, dude, it's like 54 here. No, it wasn't that cold, but like, it's like, I'm like, dude, it's like in the 60s. Like, how is it 80 degrees out there?
Like, dude, like it's like 10 to 14 degrees here, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, like, what are we doing?
For the Canadian watchers, I know it's always weird doing our temperatures because, like,
it's so weird. Yeah, I mean, like, as an American, I'm Fahrenheit, and then you're like, Celsius.
I understand Fahrenheit though, so I'm not like,
yeah, exactly. Just for Dallas, like, they have to win game 4. I think that's the must. I think I'm not surprising anybody by saying that they got to win at least 1 more on the road. I mean, you got to be honest. Like, if they can.
You don't want to go back to Dallas down 3-1.
Yeah, like, you can't do that. Like, I mean, I guess you can come back, but it's not likely. Weren't they up 3-1?
I'm going to say this. Last year, Dallas was up 2-1 after 3 games, and they didn't win a single game after that.
That's right. Yeah. So a couple tidbits here to wrap up the conference finals. First and foremost, it's shaping up to be a possible Oilers versus Panthers Stanley Cup final once again. How do you feel about that?
I love it because last year's series was cinema, and I don't think, and if we do get that rematch, I'll be honest, we're not seeing Panthers go up 3-0 on them again.
No, I don't think that happens. I think it's going to be a much closer series. It probably does go 7 again. I'll be blunt. Like, these are two teams. Like, the Oilers are like, if you guys are listening here, you're hearing the same things that we said about the Oilers. Like, with the Panthers, like the Panthers can roll all 4 lines. The Oilers can roll all 4 lines. They're deep. They can all score. That's what I'm noticing here with those two teams. And I think, again, like, we're going to see that final again. Like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And usually,
usually during the rematch, the team who lost usually gets the better of that.
Typically, yes. Well, you know what's funny is like the last couple of years. So, it's a trend we've noticed with Florida. So Florida makes the finals in 23. They lose to Vegas. Then they make the finals last year. They win. Now the Oilers might make the finals. Could the trend continue? I guess
last time we got a rematch was 08-09.
Yes, a very long time ago.
Yeah,
with Detroit and Pittsburgh.
For me, that was when I was in like 09. I was like in 5th grade.
I was a year old.
All right, you don't need to do that to me. You feel so old.
Sorry, LeBlanc. But yeah, again, like I'm usually like, I mean, again, I've never seen a rematch before besides those years. Like I usually am not really for a rematch, but screw it. Let's do it again.
I think we got Pittsburgh, Detroit again. Everyone was. For me, I was not happy. I didn't want that. I didn't want that.
Yeah, but this one I've honestly seen.
This one I want though. Like I actually want this one.
Like last year was just so fucking good. It was just so good. And then my last thing here before we get into these special prospect previews we're going to start off here with today. LeBlanc, this third round has sucked. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Yeah.
None of this has been close. Every game besides, I would say game 1 of the Western Conference Finals has been just lopsided. The first round was pretty good. The second round was okay. This has just sucked. Like, it's not close. It's not close hockey. None of these games have been close, honestly. Yeah. What do you think about that?
Well, first of all, the first round was cinema. Like, I want to put that out there. It was one of the better first rounds we've had in recent years.
It was pretty good. I like broke like channel records like with the streams and stuff. And there was some, I mean, there wasn't really any upsets, but like it was still good fucking hockey.
Like you look at the series that were real, like for me that were really good. I'm going to be biased here, but the Ottawa Toronto series is really good. Vegas in the Wild, that was a very surprising series to me.
Yeah, Dallas Colorado was phenomenal. Jets Blues was phenomenal.
Jets Blues was really good too. Even like I want to see even the Montreal series against Washington. Like it wasn't like it was 5 games, but it was a really good 5 games.
There wasn't any series that I was like specifically disappointed about besides I guess the Battle of Florida. Jersey Carolina was boring too, but
we
like, those two I was disappointed about. The rest I liked, honestly.
Yeah. Second round, we had 2 duds and we had two really good.
Yeah, 2 really good series, 2 duds. I thought it was okay. Like I enjoyed the Toronto Florida series. I enjoyed Dallas Winnipeg, and then the other 2.
Really enjoyed Edmonton to Vegas.
Yeah, that was fun. I think like 2 of them were all right. The other were just lopsided in my opinion.
I wish that went longer. Honestly,
Yeah, this has just been so boring. Honestly, I just don't enjoy it. I'm doing the live commentary streams. I'm like, this is just not fun. Like these games are not close. It's not fun, honestly. So yeah, I wanted to wrap with that. Any other thoughts here on the Stanley Cup playoffs?
I just hope the finals are no. I don't know. They won't be as good as last year, but I hope they're better than this. I hate seeing blowout. I hate seeing blowouts unless it's my team doing the blowout. Like,
exactly. I just want to see something closer. So that being said, we're going to start something new here on the podcast. A little bit of a shorter episode here. We're going to spend about probably the next 10, 20 minutes here talking about 2 specific prospects coming up in this year's draft. Now, we're going to be doing this every single episode, so This episode, we have Matthew Schaefer and Michael Misa, who we're previewing here today. And then in the next episode, we'll do like Hagens and Martone, and then we'll go so on and so forth until we get to the draft, and we'll just do a bunch of prospects to get through them all. So let's kick it off here with Matthew Schaefer, born September 5th, 2007 in Stony Creek, Ontario. He's 6'2", 183 pounds, and in 17 games this past year with the Erie Otters, had 7 goals, 15 assists for 22 points. Now, I want to put a little bit of an asterisk there. He was injured through a lot of this season due to the World Juniors, but this is a guy who is a highly touted, highly talented defenseman, and is going to be somebody that's going to be very special here in the NHL moving forward.
Yes, we're doing Schaefer first, correct?
Yes.
I know you just had the little spiel, but I wasn't paying attention. I'm not gonna lie.
All right.
But I've been to Stony Creek. Schaefer. Now, when you look at Matthew Schaefer, now for me, and I think I've said this multiple times here, I'm not ecstatic about Schaefer as everybody else is.
Yeah, you're not as high on Schaefer as other people are. Like I have discussions with you, and you're like, yeah, this guy's like not as great as everybody's projecting him to be. Why is that?
But here's the thing. I hope I'm wrong though. Like I always don't say like, oh, I hope he's a bust. No, I just don't think that he's being, because when you look at him, like his skating mobility is something like I think that's what the big selling tool is, big marketing of him is that dude can skate really well. He skates really, really well. He backchecks really, really well. He's just on skate. Like I wish I could do what he does on skates personally, because
I think we all do, LeBlanc. Come on, let's be real.
I know, like, fast. He kind of his skating reminds me of Quinn Hughes. His skating reminds me of Quinn Hughes.
Yeah, not everything else. Skating.
And also, I also hate. I think I've mentioned this to you off camera. I hate it when I watch like certain prospect previews or like hear from like former scouts, and they say, "Oh, he reminds me of this player," and then he doesn't look anything like that player.
Yeah, I believe that. But yeah, like
someone said, "Oh, he reminds me of Drew Doughty." I'm like, he is nothing like Drew Doughty. He's nothing.
Maybe in his early days. I don't know about this right now.
Do you have Schaefer's height on your? Because I forget.
He is 6'2", according to Hockey DB.
Okay, yeah. So we'll probably grow to be like 6'4".
Yeah, he could get a couple more inches on him. I think honestly, I am not terribly high on Schaefer either, but I still do think like he is the real deal. He's a high flying, skating, good offensive defender. He
has high IQ, very high hockey IQ.
Yeah, he's got a lot. He's very knowledgeable, has great hockey IQ. I think that is something that you're going to be able to take here from him. Again, I'm not like I think like again like this is a pretty weak draft. So generally, like I think the consensus is probably Schaefer, but honestly, it could be somebody else. Like we really don't know with this draft. This is a weird draft.
I'm going to say this right now: if the Isles trade Noah Dobson pre-draft, they're taking Schaefer.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much confirmed. I think right now it's a little bit up in the air with that. Like, are they going to trade Dobson or are they not? That's a whole question there to be discussed. But I think, honestly, like, he is the projected number 1 first overall pick. And rightfully so. Like, I think this guy's a very good player.
On my rankings, I have him at number 2.
So you're not hating on this guy.
No,
like,
I'm not hating on him. Like, he's the best defenseman in the draft. There's no question about it.
No, this is a weak draft. So like, there's really nobody else that comes that much closer.
I think we talked about this draft. Like we talked about in our mock draft. We talked about Brady Martin going like 11th to Pittsburgh, and even I said I don't really see Brady Martin as a top player. Like I see him as more of like a third liner or a second or a low tier second liner. That's how weak this draft is.
Yeah, honestly, I agree. But yeah, Schaefer, he's the real deal. Honestly, I think there's really no doubt about it here whatsoever. This guy is a phenomenal defenseman. What would you say? So I don't know if you have this like put down by memory, but what would you say the floor of Matthew Schaefer would be?
The floor is going. I think his floor in the NHL is probably a second pair defenseman.
So like a comparable would be
who skates like that and is on the second pair. Like when you give me, I hate comparing, and I hate doing comparison because sometimes they're not even. I'll do it.
That's fine.
No.
All right.
No. I'm gonna think of one. Now that you,
What would you say the ceiling of him would be?
his ceiling is going to be elite first pair.
So you don't think it could be a number one guy?
Well, elite first pair.
Okay, yeah. So he'd be like, okay.
Like I could be completely wrong on him. He's going to be, and he's a great two-way. That's his big selling point is that he actually plays defense.
I agree totally. So like Schaefer, like I think like this guy has a lot of potential, and I think like honestly, it depends on who picks in this draft, but like it's.
I honestly want to say if it's only because I know he doesn't skate like him at all. But imagine a more mobile Matthias Ekholm.
Okay, yeah, like somebody like that would be your low. What about a high comparable?
High comparable, you could get him as a bigger Quinn Hughes if he hits his ceiling.
Yeah, to be honest. So that's Matthew Schaefer there for you guys. Let's jump into Michael Misa.
Hold up. Before we get out of Matthew Schaefer, I want to talk about what he needs to work on.
Oh, sorry. We have to talk about the negative, even though we haven't shined on that enough.
But strengths top two. So I'm gonna do strengths and weaknesses. Top tier two-way defenseman. Skating and mobility's off the charts. Hockey IQ's off the charts. He needs to work on his shot. He's not a great. He's not a great shooter. He needs to get stronger and he needs to be more physical. If you're going to be a two-way defender, you need to be physical on the boards, on the puck. You need to be you can't be a two-way and not possess physicality.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's very important, especially in these days in the NHL. You have to have that skill on both ends of the ice. Like you can be a defensive defenseman or just a solely offensive defender, but you have to at least have some IQ in terms of, be able to back check and, making defensive plays. Otherwise, you're a power play quarterback and you're just kind of useless. Or you're just a 0 points defensive, 2 goals a season minded guy. So I think that's important there for Schaefer for sure. So that being said, let's jump out of Schaefer and head over to Michael Misa. Born February 16th, 2007. That's my birthday, my brother. In Oakville, Ontario. He is 6'1", 184 pounds. He's a center. And this past year with Saginaw, had 65 games played, 62 goals, 72 assists, 434 points. LeBlanc, without question, this guy is the best player in this draft. I think he's even better than Schaefer. I'm going to be honest. I think he just has that higher ceiling.
I think Misa's on number one on my board. Like it's not Schaefer.
Yeah, totally. I mean, like I agree. Honestly, I'm not disagreeing with you there whatsoever. Okay. He was born on my birthday, so I can evaluate all the players born on my birthday.
We can. I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, like this guy.
We've been talking about Michael Misa for a long time, like
for a while. Yeah, and people said like last year that he had like a down year in the OHL. We're like, oh, he had a down season. He had 75 points in 67 games played, but this year took a massive jump. Jump.
Like he was exceptional status. If you don't know what that means, it means he got to play in the OHL at a very younger age than everybody else.
Yeah, for the most part. So again, like that means something. Like you see, Gavin McKenna got it, Connor Bedard got it, Maddox Schultz got it, McDavid did. Like
Tavares,
a lot of top end players got it, and Misa's on that list.
And Sean Day, but we don't need to talk about Sean Day.
Sean Day got exceptional status.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's the only player in that exceptional status actually that didn't break into the NHL.
Damn. Anyways, back to Misa.
Misa,
what are your biggest strengths for him?
You talk about Misa, you talk about offensive upside, like off the charts. Any team that has Michael Misa, now Michael Misa is a center, but I feel like at the NHL level, he's going to be more of a wing.
For sure. Yeah, I agree with that.
I could see him being a we've seen guys who like they'll portray as a winger, and then they're a center their whole career. But yeah, he's a really good skater, like a really good skater. And then you look at his compete level, like guy can compete with the best of them. He's physical, and for a guy who has offensive upside, you don't expect him to be like a physical beast too. And that's what he is, though.
Yeah, and he's not that tall either. Like he's like only 6'1", but he can be a little bitch. He can be a little bitch boy.
Yeah, no, I mean it's good to have that kind of like rat tendency though. Like I love high compete level players who could score. I think those are some of the biggest fan favorites in the NHL.
Yeah, those are like the people that people love a lot, or they hate. Honestly, it depends. But overall, like I think Misa's a very talented player. This guy is the real deal, just like Matthew Schaefer. I think in any other world, like again, I didn't really go into this that good with Schaefer, but like I think it's all solely team preference with this draft. Like I think it's between these two guys. Nobody else really comes close. And overall, like it would depend. Like if Chicago is picking first overall, they probably take Misa. If San Jose or the Islanders or whatever is picking first overall, they take Schaefer. Like it just depends, honestly, with this year's draft.
And I think my strategy for drafting. If I was a GM, you take the best player available.
Yeah, I agree. So I don't know, like that's a whole thing with preference and stuff like that, but overall, like Misa is going to be a real deal. What would you say? First off, what are his weaknesses? What are things he needs to improve?
Forcing plays, and I've seen this live. I've seen this watch a little bit of film before we got on here. You see him force the play way too much, and that's fixable with coaching. And it's just with coaching, just getting smarter. His hockey IQ isn't it's high, but it's not like as high where it needs to be.
Yes, I agree with that, 100%.
And then he has defensive lapses in his game. That's another weakness there. But I'll be honest, if he could score like this, like the defensive lapses don't really concern me as much.
Right, yeah, I agree with that. So, like, I think that's one thing that you need to work out there too. You gotta, again, like I said, you have to at least have some defensive IQ. Unless if you're like insane offensively, like you have to have some IQ. So yeah, I agree with that for sure. What would you say?
Low comp for him. I'm gonna say Svechnikov.
You think Svechnikov? Okay, so like a high tier second line guy.
Yeah, that's it. That's his floor.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. His ceiling, it might be. I'm not saying he's gonna be this player. Don't come at me in the comments. I think he's a low tier Kucherov.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think like again, like he has the tools in his toolbox to be that kind of guy.
Yeah, because Kucherov.
So I agree with that. I think that's definitely a good take.
Yeah, because Kucherov, he scores. He has he's a very high compete guy, and he throws the body.
Yeah, absolutely. So Misa's a real deal. Schaefer's the real deal. You said that you have them 1 and 2 on your board.
Yes.
You want to go into that a little bit in depth here and why?
I think just the upside of Misa is high. His ceiling is higher than Schaefer's ceiling. At the end of the day, you could draft another defenseman. It's really hard to find offensive guys like this in the draft.
For sure. Unless if you're Seattle, you got to draft a defenseman.
Draft a defenseman!
Yes. All right. Any more on Schaefer and Misa, Mr. LeBlanc?
I have a question for you.
Oh, okay.
Do you think there's a chance that Misa, I don't think Schaefer is going to drop. But do you think Misa drops out of the top 2?
So who picks 2? San Jose?
Yes.
It's not out of the question. It's not. I think, again, like you look at San Jose, they already have like all those forward guys in there. They may not really want another one. Misa might be too good to resist. So he could drop to 3, but I think that's where I would stop.
But here's my thing. Who would go above him? Because
it'd probably be a defenseman.
If San Jose keeps the pick,
they might trade the second thing, honestly.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like they could trade the pick, and I think if someone's trading up to 2, they're taking Michael Misa.
Yeah, that's the sole purpose of why you're trading up there.
I can't see the Sharks drafting Higgins. They already have a bunch of forwards like James Higgins in the system. You can maybe see a guy like Anton Frundell go there, or you might get the surprise. You might get a Radim Merca slip in there.
Yeah, you might get a high defenseman up there. Because again, San Jose doesn't necessarily need a top end forward.
I'm going to say this: do you remember the year that Slavkovsky got drafted? And I do. And that was shocking. Well, at the time it was shocking. And we thought New Jersey was going to take Shane Wright. What we didn't assume, though, that New Jersey already had their set down the middle.
Yeah, so they picked Nemec.
They picked Nemec, and it's kind of backfired right now for Jersey, but...
Yeah, we heard the rumors about Slavkovsky going to Montreal, so that didn't surprise me, but Nemec really shocked me.
Like, Nemec, too, I don't know if we were on for we did their... I don't think
no, that was just me.
Yeah, so I remember me and my brother watching it then. I remember we said, oh, maybe Jersey takes Nemec because they need defensemen.
Right.
But lo and behold, it happened. And, like I can't see... If San Jose takes any of these three here, Urka, Smith, or Aitchison, it's going to look like a huge reach.
But it's not. It's just because San Jose has they're just so high in the draft, and those guys are ranked. Yeah,
so but low. Here's the thing. Merka's projected to go anywhere in the top 10. Smith's projected to go anywhere from top 8 to top 20. Aitchison's riding up the boards. He might go top 10.
I'll be shocked. I'm saying this right now. I'll be shocked regardless.
You know, if Misa, if a team trades up and they don't take Misa, then that's more surprising, I think.
I will start a riot if it's my team. I will be so upset.
And I think we're going to be on here for the draft again.
We will be. So yeah, be sure to tune into that, subscribe to the channel, and all that good stuff. That will conclude this episode of the NBP. LeBlanc, any final thoughts on this little shorter episode?
Tune into the draft to see me freak out.
In about a month. Yes. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate it. We'll be back next week for the MVP. NordCast will be back on Thursday or Friday. But yeah, that's it for us. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Ciao.
Let me flip this script. I feel privileged for all who can witness this. I am close to divine. Know the moment is mine, need an omen or sign. Providing a back sound to all the squares that ask around. Be getting it, my skills pay me. Trying to get a million, baby, with an adopted flow that God gave me. Tell whoever runners that they spot is temporary till I take it, it's mine. I'm selfish, you will. Tell Miss I'm on my wealth tip. So when we cash out soon, I'm just investing. No yes men, I've been a legend since before mom and dad had me and was best friends. I chew through comp, don't test them. I chew on tracks cause after that I bless them. I just do what I do.